What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica Hickson, and I spent 5 years working my way up to the top of an MLM before realizing they're just not all that they're cracked up to be. My goal with this channel is to rescue some Huns, to prevent some Huns from becoming Huns, and to also give those a voice who have left the Hunbot industry like myself.
It's what you do, it's making me feel like I'm falling, and when you're moving, I can...
Today's small business shout out comes from a subscriber named Liz. Liz would like to nominate the Moonstone Candle Company, which is her best friend's candle shop. She did offer to send me some, however, my sense of smell is still a little messed up from the panorama, if you know what I mean. So I figured she should just save her supply for people who can actually smell it. However, I checked out her Etsy shop and she has some of the coolest flavors, like banana saltwater taffy. Yes, please sign me up. And her packaging is just so cute. It looks like most of her candles are natural coconut wax. They all say non-toxic and vegan, and it looks like they have a wood wick. Either way, her shop is super cute and you should definitely go check it out and support a small business. I will leave all of her links, as always, in the description below. All right, so this is what we're working with today. I'm wearing only tinted moisturizer with some like highlight and bronzer. And then of course I did my eyes, but my skin, I'm like scared to put anything on it because, as you guys probably know if you follow me on Instagram, I had to stop my acne medication because it was the cause of some of the symptoms that I was having, unfortunately, because it was my last option. But I had to stop my acne medication and my skin hasn't had a huge flare up yet, so I'm trying to reduce the amount of product that I'm putting on it so that I don't get a breakout. The only problem with that is I get flushed really easily, like my face turns red, my chest turns red. That's why I always wear a high neck. I always get super red, so when I'm only wearing the tinted moisturizer, you can really tell when my face gets red. So I will first apologize for that, but like I tell my kids, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So this is what you guys are getting today. So I'm pretty excited about today's video because you guys ask about it all the time, but I never felt like I had enough to give you guys about it. And also they differ a lot between teams and between companies and stuff, but you guys ask about leadership retreats all the time and how the retreats work and stuff like that. So today I was gonna break it down for you. I know that different leaders do things differently and I've never personally hosted my own leadership retreat, so I'm only gonna speak on this specific one that I went to. So I'm just gonna give you guys a little glimpse into what the leadership retreats are like and the intention behind the leadership retreats. Okay, so first things first, you typically have to like earn your spot to a retreat. It's a leader's way of like incentivizing working harder and getting their teams to work harder by telling them, you know, you got to earn your spot, like you need to be here and this is what you have to do to get there, whatever. So I don't remember exactly how the competition went for this particular leadership retreat, but I want to say it was like you got so many points for enrolling a customer, so many points for enrolling a distributor, so many points for like ranking up or helping someone else rank up or something like that. So we had a contest to be able to make ourselves eligible to go. It was normally only diamond and above leaders, so it was like the leadership ranks and above. I don't remember if she accepted lower ranks if they met the qualifications. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember how this one went. However, I do know that I was the top enroller, the top point earner for this leadership retreat. So this is a picture of me and the person who was putting on the retreat. She was my ambassador upline. So she was the top rank of the company. She's no longer with the company, as most of these girls in these photos aren't, but she was the one who was putting on the entire retreat. So this is a picture of us together. And that was when I had just gotten to Florida where the leadership retreat was held. And she just took a selfie of me and put it on Snapchat and said, the #1 enrollers here. So the twist here, and I feel like this is a big misconception when it comes to these leadership retreats. So you're posting on social media about how you earned this spot or whatever. So like technically, or if you were a top enroller or however the competition was going for that particular retreat, then you did earn your spot. However, you're still paying for everything when you go. Like, I'm sure that some stuff came out of my ambassador upline's pockets as far as like decorations and like, I don't know, activities.
I'm not sure I understand.
I don't understand either, Siri, I'm sorry. I'm sure she had to pay out of pocket for like different decorations and activities and stuff like that. But for the most part, Everybody paid their way. So you're in charge of paying for your flight. I was living in South Dakota at the time, so any flight in and out of Rapid City, South Dakota is like over $400. So I paid over $400 for a flight. You also have to pay for your transportation from the airport to the house that we were staying in, which, just to give you an idea of how expensive it is, because Destin is like a touristy area. I don't remember if I told you guys that it was in Destin yet or not, but it was in Destin. So to give you an idea of how expensive it was to get from the airport to the house, I don't remember if this Uber was a screenshot from the house to the airport or if it was from the airport to the house, but regardless, for a 4-minute drive, it was $70.82 for the cheapest Uber. Ridiculous. So at this point, we're easily around like $500 just for a flight and an Uber. We also split the cost of all the food. So a couple of the girls went to the grocery store like right when we got there and just bought a bunch of groceries and brought it back to the house, and then we all split the bill for the food. I don't remember how much that was, but I'm gonna say we're at like $550-ish at this point. Not to mention like going out to eat, we paid for that. Eating in the airport on the day of travel, we paid for that. Like we're easily over like $700 already, but we also had to pay $250 just to go to the retreat. So easily around $1,000 just to be at these leadership retreats to like invest in your business, right? But we're taught to post about how it's this paycation and that you're getting paid to go hang out with all of your best friends in a house together and have fun. And don't get me wrong, we had a lot of fun, and I'll show you guys some of that like later on in this video. But we were taught to post as if it was just like this thing that we earned and we get to just go hang out with a bunch of girlfriends and have fun. And that's not what it was. So I want to differentiate between conference and retreats. So I know a lot of you guys ask about retreats, but what you're actually asking about is the yearly conference or the conferences that the companies hold, however often they hold them. But I know that when you guys are referencing retreats, you're thinking about the big conferences. These are two totally separate events. So a retreat is more of like an intimate setting. It's your upline is hosting this for a group of girls underneath of them who are in promoting spots or who are in VIP or whatever. So it's just your team, your personal team, or your upline's team. For the conferences, that's when the entire company gets together and they're playing music and jumping up and down and doing all this inspirational stuff. Like that is more for distributors and leaders and everything corporate all together. The leadership retreats are mostly just for leaders or people that your upline sees potential in becoming a leader. It's more to teach leadership skills and become a better leader. So the days all looked a little bit different, but I'm gonna just kind of give you guys an overall generalized statement about what the retreat is supposed to do and how it went. So in my opinion, I think the retreats are, like most retreats, are meant to get to the root of what's like holding you back, whether that be in life, in your marriage, in your business. A marriage retreat, you would go to like get to the root cause of what's holding you back in your business or in your marriage, stuff like that. So these retreats were meant for what's holding you back in your business or in your life from like keeping you from being a better person and reaching your full potential. So in my opinion, the goal of it at the beginning was to like break you down and then build you up with this core group of girls who are all part of the same cult. MLM, so that you feel closely connected with them and you would never leave, because now these people know the most intimate parts of your life and you went through this traumatic experience together, which I'll get to. You revealed all this trauma to this group of people, so it makes you feel closer to them. So they usually take you to either like a tropical place or a secluded place, like somewhere where it's just gonna be you guys hanging out together and telling each other your deepest, darkest secrets, basically. So ours ended up being in Destin, Florida. It was a beautiful tropical location. The house was immaculate. I think the house had like 4 or 5 floors. Like I'm talking a main level and 3 or 4 more floors. It had an elevator in the house. It was a beautiful, beautiful beach home. So I think part of that is like showing that life of luxury and what your life could be like if you worked hard and got to the top or whatever. whatever. So you get to this tropical location, this secluded location, and she has like an itinerary for us on the counter, which was super cute. So I guess she probably paid for that out of pocket, but it was super cute. It just laid out how the weekend was gonna go, like when we were gonna have this speaker, when we were gonna do this activity, when we were gonna do this, you know, it was super cute. And like I said, I'm not saying we didn't have fun. We had a freaking blast. But a large portion of the retreat was dedicated to breaking you down or digging deep to find like the root cause of any issues that you have. Like whatever's holding you back, they want to find the root cause of that so they can like squash it and move forward. So we did a lot of like journaling. I don't remember. Oh, I feel like I have to have my, hold that thought. So while I go look for that, spoiler alert, I never found it, but I did want to show you guys this picture that I found. I found a picture, it must have been for content. I must have been taking a picture for content. I had a mug in my hand and I had my notes. So I zoomed in on my notes and I thought it was pretty humorous that it says, fill your calendars with recruiting, training, and follow-ups. Nothing about customers, but we're not recruitment based, silly. Love that. I'm totally kicking myself for getting rid of all this at work stuff because I have so much good stuff, but when we were leaving South Dakota, I just threw everything out. I thought I still had like the journaling book that we got when we got there, when we left or something, but we did a lot of journaling. So it was a lot of where you're at now, where you would like to be, what's holding you back from doing that, stuff like that. We also did a lot of meditating. So we would like lay on the floor or lay somewhere and close your eyes and listen to, I think she actually had a speaker who specializes in like meditations, and she had her pulled up on the TV screen and she like talked us through a meditation, which was it was cool. Like, I don't know, I'm not like against meditation. I think it's important to kind of like shut your brain off and focus on something and kind of just like slow down. The world is just moving so fast around us, and sometimes like I'm the worst at it. I will never just like sit down and not do anything. So we went through this like guided meditation where she really wanted us to like dig deep and pull up trauma that has like shaped us into the person that we are today. However, like I said, I really struggle with getting to that point. I'm not very good at expressing my emotions to begin with, and when I do feel emotion, I tend to try to shut it off before it reaches the surface. And I think this is in large part due to like how I grew up. Not with my mom and my stepdad. I had a really good relationship with them, and they were always very loving and showed me like the best example of a loving relationship. But with my biological father, I often was like poked fun at if I was showing emotion, or like if I tried to show any type of affection, I was poked fun of. I honestly can't recall a time when he has told me that he loves me. It's just because of that, I feel like I have kind of shut myself off to the world emotionally. And that conversation is for a totally different time. But when we're going through these meditations and stuff, it's really hard for me to actually get to the point where I'm feeling the emotions that I felt during whatever traumatic experience it is that she's asking us to think about. So while everyone else is like crying, like sobbing and just crying out and thinking of all these different times, it's hard for me to express that or even get to that point. So it's almost like it's counterproductive for me. It does nothing for me. So basically I just laid there and took a little snooze. I didn't really fall asleep, but it was pretty relaxing just to sit there and listen to the music and like listen to her talk and stuff. So there was a lot of that people were very affected by. We did one activity where we watched The Greatest Showman, and now like that movie is totally forever ruined for me, and so is the soundtrack. I loved the soundtrack, and now I literally get like PTSD when I hear it, and I have to change it. We watched The Greatest Showman, and we had to go through and write down each of the points in the movie that we could relate to our business. So just like overcoming and stuff like that, you guys know. But then the activity that really got me, and not emotionally, but in a way that was like, what am I doing? What am I a part of? And if you like believe in this stuff, then I have no judgment for you, but for me, I don't believe in this type of like spiritual, energetic stuff. I don't believe in like manifesting stuff and whatever. So it was hard for me to wrap my head around the next activity that we did. It was an activity where she gave us these like sheets of paper, and we wrote down on the sheet of paper like all of the things that we say to ourselves in our head. People would write things down like, I'm not successful because I'm lazy, or I'm not pretty enough to be successful in this, or just a bunch of like limiting beliefs is what people in the MLM like to call it. So we wrote all of these like limiting beliefs on our own little sheets of paper, and then we set them on fire. And it was like that special paper that dissolves and like just turns into like nothing once you burn it. And so the idea behind it was write down your limiting beliefs, and then once you burn it, those limiting beliefs are gone. You release them and you no longer have them, which, like I said, does nothing for me. Like my brain is like, oh, okay, we just like burned a piece of paper. But there were people that were like crying out and that were genuinely feeling the emotions that are supposed to be brought on in this type of activity, right? They're letting go of all these limiting beliefs and all of these lies that they're telling themselves about why they can't be successful or why they're not where they need to be in their life or what have you. So being that you're only surrounded by people who are within the company and you guys are all like sharing your deepest, darkest secrets, and people were crying like nonstop, like you feel closer to these individuals and your judgment or like your perception is skewed because you're only surrounded by the people who all believe that this MLM is like the answer to all of their prayers. They think that this is how they're gonna get this time freedom, they're gonna get this financial freedom, they're gonna have everything they could ever want because of this MLM. And so you don't tend to like think clearly, which is the whole point of the MLM, is like to surround yourself with people who also aren't thinking clearly so that you can manipulate more people to do that. But when you're put in a physical setting with a bunch of people who all believe the same thing, it's like so much more powerful. And leaders know this, and that's why we always encouraged our teams to go to events and stuff like that, because when you're in this environment with all these people, it's almost impossible not to become part of it. Like even when my husband went, he was like,
okay, this is kind of culty.
And then by the end of it, he was like,
all right, let's freaking do this.
Like he was ready to go. It's easy to say from the outside, like, how do people not understand that this is all a scam because they're not on the inside. But then you go to an event like that where you're surrounded by a bunch of people who all believe the same things and are all excited about the same things, and you like feed off of that and you become excited about it and you feel like you can do it and everything else. You guys know all this. So aside from those activities, we had different guest speakers. So she is good friends with a bunch of like motivational type self-help gurus, and so I don't even remember who we had come talk to us, but she just put them on a Zoom call and put them on the TV so we could like listen to them speak. We also had the CEO speak to us. I don't remember if that was like a recording or if he actually like got on Zoom and talked, but she pulled him up on the TV, stuff like that. So essentially stuff to like break you down and then like motivate you and mold you into like the leader you were meant to be. We also had a time, a designated time set aside for making content. And I don't mean like the whole trip was for making content, right? So like, I don't mean like taking a picture of this and make it look cool for content or whatever. Like a legitimate time set aside to put on clothes and take pictures of each other in this tropical location in different poses and doing different things so that you have those photos later for content. And I'll show you what I mean. So we had all of these like tropical pictures. We took some by the pool. We took some out on the balcony. We took some like looking at our phones and using our phones so that we would have those for the I can work from anywhere posts. I took some with my chocolate greens and making my chocolate greens in this fancy kitchen to make me look like I'm living large. I took some ridiculously silly ones and embarrassing ones. I I took some gazing off into the sun. We took some as a group out by the pool. We had to make sure that we were like changing locations, and we each did this for each other. So I don't remember how many people were actually at the retreat, but literally we would take each other's phones and be like, okay, it's your turn, and then we would follow them around and take all the pictures of them doing their thing and doing their poses and everything, and be like, okay, your turn. And then we would, and this took hours, we would just do this for hours, just go take pictures of each other so that we had them later for content. Oh, you guys will get a kick out of this video.
No water needed!
Okay, so that was like a promo thing for their energy packets. I totally forgot we even had those energy packets, but it was like a pixie stick kind of, and you just take it back and it's supposed to give you energy. I don't know. But yeah, we had time set aside for that. We also had a night out on the beach. So we went out at sunset, and our leader had rented these like chairs, this bonfire on the beach basically. So we went out and turned on some music, ordered some pizza, and talked business stuff. It was gorgeous, don't get me wrong, like it was gorgeous, but we had to take, you know, the obligatory laughing photo, like everybody fake like you're laughing. And then the obligatory jumping photo on the beach, so we did that. But I want to show you guys this picture specifically. I took this picture. Did I take this picture? Yeah, I took this picture right when we got to the beach, and I turned around and they're all like taking selfies and getting content pictures. Like the sunset was beautiful. I went ahead and got my picture before anybody could get a picture of me doing this, but this is what it's like when you're hanging out with people who are all in an MLM. I'm doing a video on this separately, and I'm trying not to like let it spill out because I have some humorous stuff to say about it, but when you're hanging out with people in an MLM, this is precisely what it looks like. You look around and everybody's on their phones, everybody's taking pictures for content. Nobody's actually like living in the moment, right? And that's important to note because they give off this image of time freedom and being able to work from anywhere and being able to take vacations whenever they want, but their vacations don't look like our vacations. Like my vacation would look like me if I'm going to the beach, laying on the beach, drinking a margarita with my phone at the hotel, you know, like I'm not gonna be sitting there working on the beach. That's not a vacation, that's work. Then we had a night where the top earners, so the top 5, I believe, people who were the top point earners coming into the retreat, our ambassador treated us to like a night out. So we went to this 5-star restaurant, we had a 4-course meal. Then we went to go see, oh gosh, what was it? The Lady Gaga, with Matthew McConaughey, right? I'm terrible, you guys. I'm terrible with actors and actresses, but the Lady Gaga documentary movie. I don't know, just got like special treatment, I guess. When we got back to the house from the movie, it was so funny because we were all tipsy and we just thought we were hilarious. Like we're in the elevator and we decided that we were gonna scare the girls who didn't go on the special dinner. So we're on the elevator and we start like banging on the door, and we could hear them on the outside being like, oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? And we're just dying laughing. I'm probably gonna put the video up here, but we're just like dying laughing, and one of the girls opens the door and her face was just hilarious. You could tell she was like scared and pissed at the same time. Anyways, looking back now, it's really not that funny, but at the time we were tipsy and we were cracking up. So I'm obviously gonna have to like blur identities and stuff like that, but I just want to give you guys an idea as I'm digging in my ear. That's gross, I'm sorry you guys. I'm not digging for anything, there's nothing in there. I cleaned my ears, I promise. I was just itching right here, okay? Don't judge me. But I'm gonna have to like blur faces and stuff, but I wanna give you guys an idea of like what it's like being there during the like breakdown phase. So there was this one girl who just kept disappearing the entire retreat, and we didn't know where she was going. And then I think it was our ambassador went to look for her, and she was out on the beach, just like walking on the beach crying. And she came back to the house and she was just crying some more, and she just kept crying the entire time. time, and I don't know what she was going through. I still don't know what she was going through, or what she was going through, but it's like the exercises where they ask you to recall like their most traumatic times in your life that make people just like go off the deep end. And if you're not in the care of someone who, like an experienced professional, somebody who can help you work through that, I think it's dangerous to do that type of thing for that reason. Like, she didn't know how to cope and it ruined her experience. I don't know if it ruined her experience. I don't know if she was crying because she was changed or what, but like, I would think that if I went through a traumatic experience and it made me cry for days, I think that that would like ruin the experience for me. It got like really bad. During our journaling moments, I look over and there's just people everywhere crying in each other's arms. And I'm a very, very emotional person. Like I told you guys, I'm not good at expressing it externally, but internally I can just cry at the drop of a hat. If I'm by myself watching like The Walking Dead, I can't even tell you how many times I bawled my eyes out watching The Walking Dead, you guys. I cried everything and I'm so emotional, but being in that type of environment where everyone around you is hurting so bad, it was hard for me to even get to that point because I felt so horrible for everyone else. Like I just wanted to be comforting everyone else because they were in such like horrible spots, and by the end they were fine, and you know, they got built back up and they were motivated and they like were working harder than ever. But watching them go through that is just, it's sad. I still to this day don't know why that girl was crying for like 3 days straight. But like I said, it wasn't all bad times. There were times where we were broken down and then we would be having a blast after that, right? So I'm gonna just show you guys a little trip down memory lane. It's like some points we had like the best times of our life. We were like best friends, hanging out, having some drinks, telling funny stories, dancing. So let's just see here. So this is one of my friends who I still love her dearly. She's on my Facebook still. She's just a very Christian woman. She was very innocent. She doesn't do any wrong. I see she does no wrong because she's just so sweet and innocent. And we got her to let loose that weekend, and here's how it went. I love her so much. She's so awesome. But it was fun to like watch people like that get out of their shell and have a good time. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys that the leadership retreats were like just this huge cult thing where everybody's just, you're just crying all the time and like doing seances and stuff. It wasn't that. We did do that stuff, but we also had a lot of fun too. Oh, here's a good one. If you guys wanna know what my hidden talent is, here you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't even imagine doing that right now. I've got TMJ. That's probably why I have TMJ, because my hidden talent was putting my own fist in my mouth, and now it's locked up and I can't even open it wide enough to put a sandwich in my mouth. So that's my hidden talent, guys. You guys knew you were here for a reason, right? Gotta be friends with somebody so cool she can put her own fist in her mouth. Anyways, you guys, that's the secret behind the leadership retreats. You are paying for it in most cases on your own. You do have to earn your spot to have the opportunity to be there, but then you also have to pay to be there as well. So kind of a lose-lose situation. But if you take your business seriously, you'll be there. Like I said, in my opinion, it's meant to break you down, dig up your past so that all of these people around you know so much about you so you feel closer to them and you never quit. And they also have like blackmail against you if they need it, in my opinion. And then to build you up and make you feel like the best person on planet Earth so that you're fired up and ready to get home and lead your team and work your business. But like I said, I can't deny that I had fun there. I did have a lot of fun at the leadership retreats, this one specifically, but there was also a lot of like culty stuff going on too. And it might not be culty. You guys might believe in that stuff, but I don't believe in that stuff, and I think it's culty. So there it is, you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I will see you in my next one. Bye.